So again, the most important thing is build your spiritual house and stabilize your core. This is what this information is really designed to do with you. You have to build the house of the physical body and spiritual body. So literally, the soul matrix and the higher levels of divinity can anchor in you. Ascension is biological. It's not external. It means you are here to embody your God self. And there are different layers of that God self. Because if you were to plug into all of it, you would spontaneously combust from the frequency of it. So we literally connect to grades of energy, frequency. And we slowly go through the process of ascension, which is very much like an internal process of download, process, integrate. Download, process, integrate. This is how you build your aura. You are initiated into a new plane or a new frequency. The body, the neurological system, and the nata system of your aura starts to connect to that frequency, and it draws it in. It's accumulating it in. It's absorbing that frequency. And that's the process of integrating. You're bringing that frequency into your aura. When your body has filled whatever level of that frequency it needs, it then anchors it in. And then you move on to the next plane of frequency and energy. So it's a never-ending process. We're constantly growing. And so again, keeping yourself stabilized is really important, because when we're in these integration processes, again, many of us, I'm sure, have experienced some level of ascension symptoms, which there's a whole array of ascension symptoms. But I would say the most common thing is understanding that to go through the ascension process and connect to these frequencies puts a lot of drain and taxing on your nervous system. Your nervous system and your brain is going through a lot right now. So supporting your brain and your nervous system, fatty acids, things that help conduct the nerve synapses are very important, because they're working overtime right now. We have the genetic coding to go through the process of ascension, but again, sometimes helping the body out by supplying different supplements and nutrients is actually very helpful in those stages when you're really undergoing accelerated frequency expansions. So again, I know we brought this up yesterday, but the phase 1 guideline, again, when we're in the soul matrix and we're starting to expand ourselves, what you will find, and this is something, again, to share with others, because it's almost understanding you're in a classroom, you're going through an experience. What is the task at hand? How do I handle this? First and most important rule is do not resist. The more you resist, the more you accumulate energy. It's really, you're learning the lesson of surrender in a big way. You have to get out of the way and let the flow of energy move through your life. And again, try to imagine just nice flow orbiting and circuiting around you and letting it grow. The second you feel that you are constricting and tense, you're closing down. So it's up to you to say, wow, okay, I'm tense. I need to get myself back into a relaxed state. Breathing, any modalities that you use to bring yourself into healing and balance and relaxation, these are the tools you need to have on hand. Because you'll find, even if you just lay down and meditate for 10 minutes, do some breath work. I know a lot of us are busy and we've got schedules, but you'll find your whole day will rearrange itself in ways that your mind cannot fathom. Because again, I know most of us are experiencing time and space collapse. We've got more to do in less time. So the first thing you want to do is run. I gotta get this done. I have to get this done. But actually, this is the opposite of what you should be doing. Breathe, stay in the moment, and just deal with what is in front of you. Do not go to the past. Do not go to the future. You probably, most of us in this room, have started to understand that attempting to plan and strategize for the future is fruitless. Don't even go there. And that's very challenging, because a lot of us from birth have been told, get that 401k. What are you doing in your retirement? Aren't you supposed to be doing this? And so we're used to hearing this. And believe you me, I was a tax accountant. So again, I really remember this. Estimated taxes, planning for your future, financial gap analysis. None of that anymore. It's all about the now moment. And you'll start to find that the more you can apply that, the things that seem incomprehensible in terms of how they would demonstrate a resolution actually will, once you get out of the way. That is the issue. You have to get out of the way. We have to learn to work in these new energies. And this is truly understanding the physics of our dimension are changing. So what that means is it requires we change. We cannot respond in old behaviors that we had. We have to come into new behaviors. And this is why I believe, Eckhart Tolle has been so popular and wonderful in bringing back, the power of now. What he's talking about is the new physics of the energy. We can be nowhere but now. And that means our mind cannot be worrying about things in the past. If they're going to happen again, what if? And our mind can't go into the future about what's going to happen there. The only thing we can do is be fully present and focus on what comes into your immediate periphery. So sort of the rule of thumb is, when a lot of us want to try to control things, well, look, I have to travel, I have to move, I have to plan. What are you talking about? What you'll notice is that space will open up for you to be able to do that activity. But it will not be prudent for you to work on that activity until the space is created. The more you force it, the more resistance you're going to feel. So understanding that right now, as the physics are changing and the energies on the planet at this time, it's much easier if you wait till it's in your vision. Wait, so many times we're aware there's a project, I need to take care of this. It's in your periphery. You know it's coming. You're thinking, I got a plan for this. I know I do. But actually, try to experiment with this. Think of it as a case study. Don't focus on it until it's right in your immediate focus. When it's right here, a space will open up, and it's time for you to plan or do whatever you need to do with that activity, because the universe and your spirit is bringing you the opportune moment with the least resistance and the most harmonious energy for you to deal with this. And even when you're doing your taxes, believe it or not, this will happen. So, that thought, I have to get my taxes done. I went through this, so I'm sharing this last year. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I have to get my taxes done. And it was like, okay, don't think about it. It's gonna resolve. And there was a time and space. There it was. I got it done. And it was the most effortless way that I could do a task that I find very unpleasant. So sometimes we do have to do some things that are not altogether fun, but it's a way to learn how to work with the energy and make it as easy and smooth as you possibly can for yourself. So again, in the test of personal mastery, it's all about the intention of where you direct your consciousness. So these guidelines are very helpful, and you'll find that as you incorporate these guidelines into your spiritual awakening process, things will become much easier that may have been confusing for you. So again, ask and inquire on the way of your soul. What is divine purpose? What is your soul expression? And try to align to that. Learn the language of how it speaks to you. Soul and God energy speaks in archetypes, speaks in symbols, feelings, emotions. It's an emotive intelligence. Source actually incorporates itself into the physical through archetypes. So a lot of the times this is why you'll see a symbol, but it only means something to you, whatever that symbol may mean. And pay attention to the feeling that you have when you're seeing that symbol or you're listening to that song. I think most of you know the feeling of animation. All of a sudden you get alert, you feel an animation running through your body with something, a song, a word, a person, a deja vu. Pay attention to those moments, because that is your spirit saying, look at this. There's something there to exchange. And again, when we pay attention to that, we can get insights, we can get guidance, we can feel that amazing sense of synchronicity, which is the most peaceful feeling, which you really have a sense of in the right place at the right time. It feels so good. You know that you're right on course, you're right on path. So again, developing that interconnection to your spirit, again, it's all inside. And really start to feel inside as the priority instead of relying on what the external looks like. Feel first. Then navigate yourself. Start to really sense that in yourself. Am I too reliant on what I've seen in the environment? Come back to your feeling and then move yourself forward in the environment. Again, clearing negative ego and emotional pain stemming from conflicts is also very important. I think all of us in this room know that. And I think we've got such an amazing group of healers and body workers here, which is all about that. As healing the emotional body is really 99% of the Ascension process. So, again, we'll get a little bit more into that, but I know we're pretty well versed in that. So again, at the end, we'll go through the actual practice, but I wanted to just introduce it for a moment, that the core support practice is using a triad. Again, triads are the basis of creation, and they're very powerful. You may have noticed that when you use things in sets of three, the trinity, the triad, the triangle, the pyramid, these are a very powerful archetype because it's the basis of all of creation. The masculine principle, the feminine principle, and the creation or the Christ child is a triad. You will find this existing in absolutely everything that is in form manifest, whether it is a human being, whether it's a tree, whether it's the universe. It's all based on the triad of creation, where there is a masculine and feminine principle, and then the creation and a third field in itself. So, in the basis of creating a triad of your spiritual or foundational practice, I've given you a support tool. And so the step one is really the declaration of your intention to resolve your authority problem between your ego nature and God, which again is that personality program. So any words that have meaning to you, you can use these as an example, and as you feel in your own heart something that really inspires you to come up with your own, that's perfect. It's something like this. My declaration of intention is to serve my source. I commit to serve my highest power fully, completely, and totally. When you set that intention daily, it really helps to align and get any of the ego and lower nature things out of the way. So you're saying, I'm inviting Source in, and I'm inviting my guidance in, and whatever is needed for me to experience that highest expression, I'm fully declaring that intention now. So however that feels to you, but that is step one. Step two is the 12-dimensional shield, which I recommend in the AM. And this is, again, a shielding process that I'll take you through. This is the unity field and the crystal consciousness that the Guardians have given us as a tool, and I'll explain as to why they have chosen this particular tool. And then step three is core fear removal, which, again, is a program which very simply, once you get it down before bed, what I have found as a sleep state programming that is very powerful is that at bedtime, you dedicate your sleep to the clearing and removal of any fear. This is fear that is lodged as a program. So remember, all thoughts are things, all emotions are things. We have been socially programmed, educationally programmed, governmentally programmed into so many different systems. And a lot of these are operating at unconscious levels. So we really want to be fearless, because fear is, again, a part of the amplification of the negative energies and the entity attractions and all of this thing. So really one of the most important things is to clear fear and to really become fearless and in your connection and knowing you truly are really protected. A lot of what we're seeing here is illusion. It seems very real to us. But again, understanding the dynamics of what is going on this planet at this time is very helpful to help navigate those. So please clear fear programs. Get to the bottom of those and get them out, and ask your God self and your guidance to do this before bed. It's very powerful. And I'll give you as well verbiage with that as well to have towards the end. So let's talk about the four-body system, which is truly starting to think of yourself with your four bodies. There's actually a lot more, but this is just to kind of drill it down so that you connect to yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When you think of yourself, think of those components, because each of those components are operating all at once. So in your own mind, even when you bring your attention to that, you're already starting to think balance. Your body's already starting to connect, because you're not thinking of yourself as just a physical being or just a spiritual being, or I'm having this emotion today. You're really starting to become integrative in your understanding that you have bodies that exist at those levels, and they are all communicating at some level or not with each other. And we want each level to communicate seamlessly and easily with all parts of yourself. Because when you do that, you again experience a lot more joy and balance in your own life. So what this system is designed to do is to increase self-awareness at all levels and how these areas are impacting ourselves and others. It's designed to harness energetic integration and synthesis as a holistic, multidimensional view of the self. And it's designed to maximize success in applying soul-infused energies into eliminating personality weaknesses that limit effective action. Designed to strengthen personal power and energy discernment of where you apply focused energy and attention, and also designed to attract and become magnetic to your exacting purposes in fulfilling your life, and designed to be deeply connected with a sense of purpose and meaning in everything that you're involved with. You start to completely know everything that you're doing is in full alignment. There is no what ifs. Door number 1, door number 2, should I do this? That's out the window. You don't have that anymore.
You need one.
Oh, thank you. I actually have a nice big bottle. Excuse me. Lisa has to remind me to have a drink of water. Thank you. Which is the perfect segue into taking care of our physical body, right? So the first layer, again, in some suggestions, when you're feeling about your physical body, increase your awareness of needs of what your body needs to actually nurture yourself so you can operate at the level you require of it. This is a part of building the spiritual house. What I see a lot is that it's very hard for the spirit to embody when the physical self is not in alignment. And so when we're not taking care of our physical body needs, again, it can create a part of that imbalance with the rest of the structure. So again, the physical body is so important as a part of the foundational house of which you're trying to create a strong physical body to house your spirit. So nutrients, foods, cleanses, physical supports, exercise, sunlight, therapies, and healing modalities. Identify those things that increase your joy and physical well-being and make sure that you incorporate that as a foundational part of your balancing program, of your spiritual ascension program. Really, this is just being a better human, a balanced human being. Commit to healing and supporting your physical self as a priority and try to increase some of those things that really kind of nurture the physical self. The physical self has its own consciousness, and it's going through a lot right now. So a lot of the times I have a communication with my physical body, and I talk to her, and I say, Lisa, I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. Is there something I can do to help you out? I know you're working hard. So really at times, even having a consciousness of how your liver's doing. Do you need a liver cleanse? One of my most favorite drinks right now, because I can feel how toxic my liver is lemon water with mineral water. And then I put in gallbladder drops and liver drops, and I actually drink that. That's like my standard drink these days, with some silica drops, and I can feel my body needs that silica, my body's needing some liver support. So I try to find efficient ways that I can drink it or help support my body. And so giving some attention and focus in that goes a long way. You'll find it really helps you. In fact, I have my liver Perrier water with me now, so not leaving home without it. So that's about the physical body. So again, our alignment intro to the physical, identify any physical weaknesses and implement a basic physical support strategy. There's lots of technologies you might be interested in. I am one person that works with something called QXCI and the quantum, and I found that extremely helpful. But there's lots of there's something called Life System. I don't know if anyone heard of the scanning systems that are out now. There's a lot of bioenergetic devices that scan the body and pinpoint nutrient deficiencies and things like that. I have found that very helpful, so I wanted to share that. But it helps you identify physical weaknesses in the body. So if you've got any weaknesses, become aware of them. Even consciously, you want to heal them spiritually or with body talk or whatever of the healing modalities you use, that's great. You may need as well other support or supplements as a type of foundational support. So brain nerves and adrenal and neurological awareness, again, what I'm seeing most commonly is that as we're undergoing the shift right now, the electromagnetic field overexposure is creating radiation-like symptoms in us. So again, nourishing and supplementing and being aware, protect your brain, nerves, adrenal, and have a neurological awareness because your nerves are working extremely hard right now. So things that are like formulas that support brain and nerves, I think that's a foundation all of us should be on at this point. We all pretty much need this. Really supporting that part of your body. So again, nourish your supplement, exercise your movement, breath awareness, and of course, connecting in nature, which is always healing. So trying to integrate that to support your physical. Wow, this was a long one. I tried to make this as seamless as I could, but again, speaking about emotional body is big because again, it really is a big part of the healing. But emotional body goals is really learning to identify your feelings that you can start to feel inside your body as a cognitive process, meaning you can sense feeling in your body. Like a lot of the times when we understand that emotions get lodged in our physical self. Once we start to understand that our organs all vibrate at a certain resonance. So many times if we're having kidney problems, it's because we're having fear problems. So if the kidneys are sore in your lower back, or you're having some bladder issues or kidney issues, and sometimes you'll recognize, wow, I'm holding some fear in my kidney. I think I need to support my kidney. I might need to do a cleanse for my kidney. I might to touch my kidney and give it some comfort. So again, all of this is interrelated, this four-body system. It's really working all of these different layers. But knowing that the emotions get lodged in your physical self. So this cognitive process of feeling your body, however you get there, whether it's with movement or with different modalities, is also very helpful in releasing, because the body is literally like a system where it is lodging energies that get stuck, and you want to identify that and release it. So learning how to bring expression to what you're feeling as possible in the moment that you're feeling it, identifying any negative self-talk or unproductive emotions or thoughts. When you're having these, try to source them. Are they yours? Is this your thought? Where's it coming from? Did you pick it up from your neighbor? Because again, us that are empathic, many times we can pick up thoughts from other people around us. When you're feeling an energy or you're feeling a thought, like I'm having this self-talk, ask yourself, where is this coming from? Is this my mother? Am I wearing my mother's coat? Is this coming from the room somewhere? Really identify where that's coming from and decide if you want to keep it, because you don't have to keep anything that's not yours. You can choose, very much like the food that you're eating. If you're choosing organic and healthy, you can also choose a healthy mental diet, a healthy emotional diet.
Do you have any handouts on this stuff? Yeah, you're good.
I don't. I thought about that.
Just so I know how much to write down.
Yes, but I will, I will email things. If there's something that, there's a lot of writing and you want it, please send me an email. Because I thought about that, and I thought in the interest of saving trees, I probably should just keep it digital.
So you would email this to us?
Absolutely. If that's something that you feel that would help you, absolutely, I'll email it to you.
Okay. Then I could just sit and listen.
Yes. So again, clearing fear, limitation, and insecurities. Insecurities is big. I think a lot of us have self-doubt issues. And this is very important as well to identify, where is that coming from? Is it from some part of me that feels unlovable? Is there something coming from the past that I need to rectify? Really getting clear about that, because fear is also insecurity, self-doubt. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Get that out of your lexicon. Really get clear in, there is no mistakes. You're just working in a classroom, coming into mastery with yourself. And again, use these as opportunities to just keep growing your mastery and expanding your awareness. So eliminating dross. Eliminate that dross. Guilt, obligation, and emotional vampires in your life, or those that influence your life. So let's talk about emotional vampires. I'm sure all of us have come across one or two in our life. An emotional vampire is someone that requires you to be a certain way and therefore will drain energy from you in order to receive whatever it is that they think they need. So understand there's almost like two levels of being at this point. There are those that are inner sustained and inner directed, and there are those that are externally directed. When someone is externally directed, what it means is they require you or the circumstance or something to be a certain way. And if it's not a certain way, because they're attached to it, they will have an emotional response or an attachment, and many times a negative response to that. And with the person that they're interacting with in that way, maybe there's a controller, someone who wants to control you because they feel more secure if they do that. You will feel incredibly drained in their presence because they're unable to just allow you to be who you are. And that's what an emotional vampire is. So again, understanding that many people that are vampiric, we don't understand they're vampiric. And sometimes if it's your piece to help enlighten them on that topic, it may be, or it may be just it's a relationship that needs to be kind of a closure so that you don't allow that kind of drama or controlling issues in your life. But you'll see that a lot, and especially in the external environment now, as the world, as we're moving into the Ascension cycle, and polarities are amplifying, people are dealing with tremendous amounts of stress. The Ascension and the evolution is clearly creating a tremendous amount of stress and chaos in people's lives, which means people are not on their best behavior, which means when people are desperate and in crisis, they act sometimes in negative ways. So you may see this increasing because, again, we haven't been a society that's trained to deal with stress very well. But this will increase that emotional vampiric thing. So being aware of shielding yourself, which again the 12 shield is very effective with that, so that beings don't cord to you, beings don't attach to you. Because again, you'll find that people attach to you where they are most orientated in their chakra system. So, as an example, if someone is in a power over will, they're going to cord to your solar plexus. If there's a power struggle going on, you're going to go right to the solar plexus. If there is something that is coming to the second chakra, that is a problem with a relationship. Because again, many of us have tremendous amounts of challenges in our intimate relating, our creative energies, our sexual energies. All of these energies are very confused in us. If someone's trying to cord at a second chakra level, it's usually a codependence. They're trying to codepend on you. So that's a second chakra connection. And then a lot of the times, poverty consciousness and fear, because the first chakra is literally about our experience of the spirit as a physical being and the fears that we have from not feeling safe in the world. And that's a first chakra emanation. So you'll find that people will connect to you when they're vampiric in this way, just certain chakra systems. And when you're clearing your chakras, you may even see cords in there and go, who is that? So that happens a lot to us. So understanding that you can take those attachment cords out. And in fact, the introduction CD that I have has all the attachment cord cutting, if that is something that you're interested in. The introduction CD really goes into basic spiritual house cleaning if you kind of need tools for your toolbox to use for different things. Relationship clearing, attachment cord clearing. Again, as you become more adept to understanding these concepts, then you don't have to always sit and do them in meditation. You can do them immediately when you're in groups, when you're at work, when you're in a personal situation. It's literally like having a toolkit where you can call upon different techniques and they almost just become a part, or they do become a part of your consciousness. And clearly, as the larger our fields get and the more developed we get in our consciousness, it becomes more important to have an awareness of our field and learn how to house clean our field. So again, eliminating that emotional drama from your life and any person or circumstance that will persist in that type of relating, which a lot of the times is called triangulation. It means somebody goes and talks to somebody else and you hear it from somebody else. And then it comes back distorted. It's like a game of telephone. There are certain people that don't understand the danger in that. That when you triangulate, you're really creating all kinds of negativity through the various levels of people that this is happening. And sometimes a lot of it is just misinterpreted. But triangulation and emotional drama needs to be something that is just, I will not allow that behavior to be in my container. So the emotional body clearing tools, and this is again on the CD as an audio, but the specific core fear identification is something where you get more specific into fears. We have general fears. So when you're working with fear removal, you can have a general fear process, like I'd like to remove, any fears I have. But a lot of us that have done the work and go in, we may have very specific fears like betrayal or abandonment or something like that. So once you identify a core fear and betrayal have different frequencies. So the more accurate you are with the frequency of encapsulating what it is you'd like to heal and clear, telling that and explaining that to your God self. Because again, I'm a high proponent of connecting to your guides and connecting to your God self and having dialogues with them. Speak to them like they're your best friends sitting right next to you. They hear you, believe me. ask them to help you identify those fears and get them out if you really feel that you need to have that process of healing and clearing. So learning to let go and applying self-forgiveness, of course, learning to forgive others is really important as an emotional body clearing model. Practice patience, surrender, acceptance, forgiveness, and be here now. And that really, again, there's nothing to get upset about. Attempting to really bring balance and purpose into all things. And I know we're going through lots of changes. There's lots of beings that are choosing to leave the planet right now. And again, it's understanding that this is all choice. A lot of us are midwives of the spirit, and we're going to see this and continue to see this. Understanding this is a really intense time on the planet, and some people will choose to be passing, and that's okay. There is no death. There is no death. Just understanding that some of us that are here as the Ascension light workers, some of us may be getting tired and decide to leave, and that's just fine. So again, blessing that and allowing all that needs to be during this time to reposition itself. I know it's challenging, but attempting to find that neutrality and unconditional love is very important.